It's the all-new live BuyBlackBrown business podcast. I'm your man, Chris Rhodes, in the Blessed Beat studio. I am blessed to have my co-host, my partner in crime. Yeah, the lovely Erica Coleman. Erica, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Chris. Guys, you guys know that here on BuyBlackBrown Business Podcast, we interview different people in different facets of business. They give us insight on how they're growing it. They give us insight on some do's and some don'ts. So they just give us a lot of information. So today we have a guest here. Who do we have in the studio with us, Chris?
So we have Judy Young with College Excellence. So Judy is really changing the game for our community. So Judy is really taking college age and middle school age kids, and what she's doing is, instead of us chasing the college, she puts them on the right trajectory to where the college is really chasing them. So Judy is doing an excellent job in her field. She's very successful. So without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Judy. So Judy, how are you?
I'm so happy to be here today, Chris. It's an honor. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
Of course.
So, College Excellence. So tell us a little bit about College Excellence, who you are, what you do. Give us your elevator pitch.
So I work with motivated students to help them get to their best college outcomes. And the reason I do what I do is I'm from Jamaica originally. I got here what I thought would be my sophomore year. Turned out it was my senior year. There you go.
Okay.
But probably because I wasn't stressed, I did really well on my tests, and I got to an Ivy League school. But the point is, I realized once I got there, a lot of us, didn't really know what it took to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And are there differences between schools? Sure. So I'm here to help people understand, knowledge is power. So I'm here to help people understand what they need to do to get where they're going, because it is about planning, just like your business plan.
So tell me a little bit about the planning piece. So without giving away too much of your secret sauce, so how do you exactly go and help put students on the right trajectory?
So people always ask, when should I start planning for college? And the reality is, as parents, you're already doing what you need to do. You're getting them ready to be confident, curious learners. And that's something nobody else can do but you.
Mm-hmm.
But having said that, there are some decision points, right? So at about 7th or 8th, you're making decisions about courses that are going to set them on the right path or narrow their options.
Mm-hmm.
So there are things that you need to understand about the process early on in 7th or 8th. And then in 9th, you're putting your plan into action, but you're actually applying in junior, like senior year.
Right.
But you're applying with things you've already put in place.
Mm. So it's really important to put them on the trajectory early.
Of information.
Of information, okay.
They need to understand what's going to be important, because people spend a lot of time, I find, on things that aren't helpful.
Mm-hmm. So what are some of those? So without giving some of your secret sauce away,
yeah.
What's something that's really not that important that you typically see?
So I don't think it's that one thing isn't important.
Mm-hmm.
As an example, it's not that volunteering is not important,
mm-hmm.
but if you have nothing to show for it, if I've done an hour at 100 different places, and when somebody asks, so what did you learn from that? If I didn't learn anything,
mm-hmm.
that probably wasn't a good use of your time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not one thing, it's just what was your
It's a
impact.
combination of different things.
Correct. So it's thinking about, what did you do with that experience, not just what did you do.
Okay. So how long have you been in business?
Yeah, so I've been doing this for 3 or 4 years, but prior to that, I actually was doing this on a pro bono basis before I realized
there's just money in it.
So I was on the Friends and Family plan for a while.
A lot of us entrepreneurs are
There you go.
friends and family plan, yeah.
So when is the busy season for you?
Right now, actually. So it comes in waves. So it depends on who you're talking about, right? So the planners get started in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
They're the FedEx folks who realize this is senior year. Okay, here we are. And they come screaming in the door in September. Hopefully not October, but so it depends. But right now it's a pretty busy time.
Okay, well, good. So you said you started about three years ago. So what really kind of moved you to do that? I mean, what was your inspiration to say, hey, I want to go and do this full time?
Well, I mean, for me, it was a personal timing issue. As I said, really, I had been doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But then actually when my kids, left home and I had more, time to devote to a business, that's when I actually started the business.
Okay. So let's talk about demographics. So with your particular business, and like I said, not giving away some of your secret sauce, but who are your more prevalent clients?
So people self-select.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would tell you is it's highly motivated students with parents who also are supportive and willing to invest time and resources in that process.
Mm-hmm.
So people self-select into that process. Sometimes, I wouldn't want to just put a stamp on it's this person or that person. It's a combination of things that creates that kid who's confident, intellectually curious, and on that path.
So what do you see some of the barriers for folks getting into, I won't say getting into, but more so utilizing your services? Is it a lack of people just don't know that people like you exist, or is any other type of barriers? I mean, what have you seen in your industry?
I would say the barrier is knowledge. I would say most people have no idea that it makes any difference. People, tell their kids go to college, but they don't tell them anything more.
That's why they're going to college. And it's like, okay, so how do I do that?
Figure it out. So, honestly, that is a barrier for a lot of people. It's just not knowing, not knowing what they don't know.
Mm-hmm. So, and I think we've had this conversation before. So when you are counseling with individuals, and I know as I was getting ready to go to college, I leaned on my college counselor a whole lot, and we talked about this, in a separate setting.
We all do.
Yeah. So, and you put it eloquently. So I'm kind of teeing you up for this. So when I So I know you're about to knock it out the park, so I'm teeing it up for you really, really well.
Okay.
But I'm just going to speak on my past experience. So when I was in high school and I was talking to my counselor and whatnot, I wasn't the best of student. I was probably, a solid C student. And my counselor advised me, he said, hey, college is really not for you. Mm-hmm. And I really didn't take his advice because I knew it was, I know, right? I didn't take his advice. I decided to go at it, but I went at it a different way. So I went through the junior college level, and then eventually I got enrolled into Baylor University, and then I went on to Indiana University. So with that being said, do you see, is that still an issue or a problem within college admissions now, to where a lot of counselors, I won't say they give bad information, I would say maybe they give conflicting information. Do you still see that going on now?
So, counselors play a very important part, and truthfully, most are very overworked. You're talking 500 kids to one counselor. So to be fair to the average public school, let's say, the issue is that they're giving advice that's straight down the middle to most people, right? But I would still say, because your question was, is that still an issue that people give that advice? The issue is it may not be tailored to you. That's really the issue. And the advice may not come soon enough. I mean, you might generally hear, there goes a train. What train? What are we doing? You don't know what that train was, or I told you that in 8th grade. If you didn't know that was important, what I mentioned in 8th grade, it didn't tee you up, right? If somebody had told you, oh, hey, you're going to be making, a 6-figure salary if you do, what class? I'm on it.
Exactly.
You see, but nobody told you why it mattered, right? No, seriously. That's an old issue. Nobody tells, do geometry. Well, why? I'm not interested in geometry.
Exactly.
You're going to make a lot of money. Oh, okay, fine. I'm not interested in it.
I'm interested in making this money.
Right,
so, perspective
is
is different.
It is perspective and understanding why you're doing what you're doing.
Oh, wow. So another thing that I've seen too, and speaking from my own personal experience, I really didn't start getting college advice until I was a sophomore. And to your point, Judy, a lot of the scholarships or a lot of the opportunities, I wouldn't even say sophomore year, it's probably early junior year.
Probably.
It was probably early junior year.
Yep.
And a lot of the scholarships and whatnot that was available to me. One, I didn't have the GPA because I was, I kind of shot myself in the foot because you're a freshman, and you're just like, hey, I'm a freshman, I'm going to do, I'm grown now.
I'm going to take what I can do, what I need to do, and that's it.
Absolutely. But that's most kids.
So, with that being said, so I know we want to start early, with college and looking at that. But is there a particular time to where it's almost too late? So to me, it seemed like in my junior year, it seemed like I was too late because I was already on the trajectory of not getting into the college that I wanted because of my GPA. And I had to take some summer school classes to try to get that up. But is there almost a time where it's almost too late to where you can change that trajectory?
So I would answer it differently.
Okay.
Okay.
I would answer it differently. I would say your path is very wide open from about 7th, and then there's a series of doors you're not seeing that are closing and moving you in a certain direction. So either you're moving in a good direction, or you're probably moving in a different direction with less options. So it's never too late, but your choices and your options are shifting without you noticing it.
So is volunteering your time and doing all these different extracurricular activities, is that one of the things that colleges really look at, or is that used as kind of like a big weighing factor, or is it more so just the academics?
So the most important thing is going to be your grades and your test scores. Why? Because colleges want to make sure you can graduate. They want successful graduates. That's the first thing, right? So they want to make sure of that. Beyond that, they want to know who will you be on their campus, and that's why they look at issues like volunteering. If you're doing nothing but video games all day, that's a very different student than somebody who's making change in their community, right? But always you have to be able to get through the work. That's always their first concern.
Okay, well, good deal. So I think we're up to our first break. So Chris Rhodes with BuyBlackBrown Business Podcast. We're 13 minutes past the hour, 13 minutes past the hour on the all-new BuyBlackBrown Business Podcast.